Hello. Hi, and welcome to this live. Please let me know in the comments if you can hear me. This is the first time I'm doing live on YouTube, so also if you know me from my videos, awesome. Hi, Aiden. The camera is flipped, so this looks super weird. Hi, Rishi. So I decided to start doing live Q&As. In the beginning of my channel, when I had just opened the channel, I did Q&As, but I collected you guys' questions and then I recorded a video with the answers. So I thought it would be really fun to do a live Q&A. So I am going to answer your manifestation related questions. And just so you know, no question is too weird or too stupid, and I really want to um, put this out there because I have some new clients who come to me with a little bit of guilt for their desire and the questions they ask me. There is nothing wrong with your question. I don't care how new you are to manifestation. I don't care how difficult you think it is. Just ask me the question, because I remember when I was new to this and I had probably all the questions about manifestation that any one of you has. And there was a lot of, hi, Alexandra. There was a lot of things that I wasn't understanding for quite a long time. So, because of my own experience with conscious manifestation, you are going to get absolutely no judgment from me. So, I am just going to wait till you guys ask me your questions, and I'm happy to answer and clarify anything that you have. So, please leave your questions in the comments, or any curiosity, or even weird things that you've heard about manifestation. I'm happy to clarify. For anyone who is new, actually, or anyone who isn't even new but hasn't watched my video about my own journey, I started with the law of attraction and wasn't understanding things for several years, actually. And in the meantime, I was doing everything that wasn't working. So I also have a lot of experience in stuff that doesn't work. So um, Alexandra is asking, do you think people are real? This is a wonderful question. I have actually had a period where I struggled with it quite a bit, because you always hear the 3D isn't real, people aren't real. The people in your 3D reality are very much real. It's just that creation is so complex that we, from our 3D experience, don't understand the complexity of it. And the one thing that comforted me with this, because I have been asked this question several times. People think that their loved ones aren't real. They are very much real. They exist. And the one thing that comforted me back then, when I had this actually worry, the question and also worry, was Neville Goddard, always to the rescue. He says that, I remember one of his lectures where he says, every single one of you sitting here is a God creating your own experience. It's just that you have people reflect back to your own assumptions, and in their reality, they have their own assumptions reflected back to them. So, does this make sense? Because two people being in the same situation has manifested that same situation from their perspective, and that are going to experience that in different ways. So, yes, people are real, and everyone is manifesting in their own experience. Um, is it possible to change a name in one day? Everything is possible as long as you assume it to be true. If you can assume your name to change like this, it is. What was my biggest manifestation struggle? I love your videos. Thank you so much. I love making them. And I love having every one of you here. My biggest manifestation struggle, boy, I don't know what I have struggled with the most, but my biggest manifestation has been my self-concept, which was what I started with, which included so many things. But that was, I can't call it a struggle. I don't, I have to think about this one actually. um, Richie is asking, I have been reading lots of Neville's lectures, and there are a few where he mentions SP and says he proceeded to ask the ladies if he dropped dead, would you not desire anybody else? He tries to use it like a contra argument against a specific human. Yeah, I know what you mean. And I don't know what to say here because he himself manifested a specific person. His second wife was a specific person that he manifested while he was married to someone else. I don't know if he's using this to sort of have people have less limiting beliefs around relationships. I don't know what to say actually, because I know that, and a lot of people, a lot of teachers actually are pushing this idea that you can just manifest the relationship. My opinion is that you should not push yourself to manifest something else that isn't your desire. Always go with your desire. If your desire changes through the manifestation process, which sometimes happens, fine. But no, I don't like to push other desires on people other than what they specifically have. Your desire is valid. And actually, Neville Goddard, in other lectures, he says that your desire is a gift from God, so you must honor it. And I hope that answered. Living with SP, but still feeling triggered in 3D while living in the end as best as I can in 4D. That's the best thing you can do, actually. Do it as best as you can. Train your mind as much as you can. You will get the hang of it. How can you regain trust in the law of assumption when you've tried hard for a long time and manifested the opposite and you are left with sadness and frustration? I understand this. If you can, take a step back, manifest smaller things that you don't have resistance to, and try to understand what you are doing, what you have been doing that could have been in the way. Sometimes we do a lot of work, but then there are small things that we are not aware of that keep us stuck. So manifest smaller things that you don't have resistance to, and then trying to analyze how you have been doing the work. I want to commit not wavering for a big desire. Is it useful to anticipate some limiting beliefs that might prevent me from getting it and affirming against them a few days a week? If you think you might have a limiting belief around your desire, then yes, affirm against it. Why a few days a week? Start affirming a few days in a row. Then you will see how it goes, because either you realize that, yes, I certainly have this limiting belief, or you'll realize that no, this is not a thing, and you go on to the next one. How can I feel ease? This is actually more important in manifesting than a lot of people realize. I suggest SATS, state akin to sleep, which is a Neville Goddard fancy way of saying get into a relaxed state. When you are relaxed, you switch off that negative chatter in your mind, and it's easier for you to actually enjoy. Whether you're affirming or visualizing, it doesn't matter. Choose what you actually like to do. That also contributes to these. But get in a relaxed state and do it from there. Do you have your favorite manifestation, favorite manifestation, or favorite? You don't mean favorite manifestation technique, do you? My favorite manifestation is my self concept. That's the actually, I realized that I'm making way too few videos about self concept. I'll probably make more, but self concept is something that I have been preaching to right and left and to my clients. That's the best thing you can manifest, because everything else that you manifest, you start with your self concept. So when your self concept is great, there's always something to work on. By the way, I have also figured this out on my own experience, that there's always something, but favorite manifestation self concept, I think. Hi, MJ. Do you think that repeating all day creates obsession and pushes desire away? In my case, I have my desire on my mind all day and I don't know how to handle it. This is actually a question that a lot of people are confused about, because I don't think obsession is that bad, to be honest. And affirming all day is also not bad, because when you have a desire and when you are still in the beginning and you are in the lack state of your desire, you are going to think about your desire. That's not the question. It's not about whether you think of it or not. You are going to think about your desire. So from here, my suggestion is you either think of your desire from having it, or you think of the lack of it. When your story is still from the old state, it's going to be lack and it's going to come up. So it's better that you actually affirm, so that you train your mind um, with that new story, than to not affirm just because you're scared of being obsessed. You're not pushing your manifestation away by affirming your end goal a lot. You are pushing your manifestation away by thinking from lack. It's that simple. It's where is your mind at? Is it having it or not having it all day? Because if you're thinking from your end goal all day long, at some point you're going to saturate your mind and not think about it as much. If you're still completely obsessed with it, that's telling me that you're still in the lack mindset of it. So it's better to affirm a lot. Sorry, question was too long. Notice that my money manifesting game is not where it should be compared to other stuff. Any tips? Every single one of my client, I think, has had myself included, at some point. Everyone is okay. Now, I don't want to give you guys limiting beliefs. I realize that this is just an assumption, but everyone has stuff that they are really good at manifesting. So for some, it's money. For others, it's SP, and then there are other things that they struggle with. Any tips with money? I have found, again, both from own experience and with clients, that with money, for some people, it works when they affirm specific amount of money, but for others, that's just a no-go, because people can have, maybe you have, general belief about money. Here, I would suggest you to try to understand your limiting beliefs around money. it's always helpful to understand what you actually believe about money. And sometimes you think you don't believe it, but it's there, and try to think the thought and see how you react to it emotionally. It tells you, your body tells you everything you need to know, actually. Um, Richie must be referring to AI generated content on the internet. Oh boy, there are so many. If you guys are listening to Neville Goddard, uh, the audiobooks, or not the audiobooks, the lectures, there's a lot of stuff that isn't him, that claims to be him but isn't him. And if you read Neville Goddard, like the safest is to just read his texts, but if you read, you will understand easily that that it's not him. So yeah, pay attention when you're listening to Neville Goddard stuff, whether it's AI or not. Hey Anna, if everything is possible, is it possible to completely change my own or someone else's past? In comes revision. Will the old past never have existed, never have happened? I would say this depends on your own assumptions, and to what extent you believe what you are manifesting. But the way it happens, the way it works with changing the past, aka revision, is the exact same way it works to manifesting, again, the future. The reason I'm doing this is because past, present, future, and all possibilities all exist all at once. What you're doing when you are revising the past, aka changing the past, is that you are selecting a different experience for your past. Just like when you are manifesting something new from now on, like for now, you are simply selecting a reality that exists. You are either selecting this reality or that reality, and you are doing the same with your past experiences. So this is why revision makes so much sense, because you had that experience from this perspective, your current perspective, you had that specific experience. But when you revise it, you choose the possibility of having had the other experience, which then is going to impact your present and future, because now you change the story. Richie says, I hope not about the AI. It's just text files on his website, but they could be. Um, I think he mentions there are lectures of Neville Goddard where he says some things, and in other lectures he says something different about that topic. Not that I don't know if he contradicts himself. Maybe he does, but with Neville, he has so much that that you can actually, like, I don't know, pick and choose, I guess. He doesn't exactly contradict himself. I think sometimes he is trying to talk to the people of the time with the limiting beliefs of that time and limitations of that time. Just like, when Bible was written thousands of years ago, it was written for people who were, I think, literally illiterate. So they were creating these stories around the lifestyle, or the lifestyle of that time. So sometimes I think Neville talks in the language of the time he was living in. That's why sometimes it's off to us. Does it make sense to anyone? Mm. Oh, let me see where I was. The amount of Neville on YouTube is so bad. Um, there's so much stuff. Bye, Richie. Thank you for being here. Does there always have to be a natural bridge of incidents that is in accordance with logic? I don't think so. Sometimes there is, sometimes there isn't. It depends. Such as typical delays, dates, etc. No, those are mostly assumptions. So the less that you limit yourself in your mind about stuff like that, the better it is. But sometimes it happens completely naturally, like from your most human logic, and it looks like it would have happened anyway. Other times it happens in the weirdest ways possible. So can I have a few money affirmations, or it's better to have one? Personally, I like inner conversations. Affirmations make me bored. You can definitely use inner conversations. Always choose the technique that you like the most. You don't have to do what everyone talks about, even as long as it happens in your mind. That's good enough. And it depends whether you choose several affirmations or one affirmation. If you have several limiting beliefs or several things that you want to cover, I would say go with several affirmations or include all that in your inner conversations. What happens when you do that? At first, you can always start with several affirmations. At some point, you sort of get the idea, or you like one affirmation better than the other, and you may or may not just pick one and stick with that. But no rules to this one, actually. Do what's comfortable for you. I've seen a change in myself, but the actual physical thing hasn't happened yet. I think it's due to it being something very ingrained in me. Has anything ever taken a long time for you? Months? Oh my God, yes. And for me, so someone else actually asked this question in a comment. I don't know if it was you. Especially when I'm not focusing properly on something, it can take forever. This is why I always say, do the work, just do the work. If you feel the thing has, no, if you feel that you have changed, like the way you feel about it and your thoughts, etc., stick with it. Make sure that you don't start freaking out because it doesn't happen in the 3D, just so you don't start manifesting it. But you having changed is the first thing that needs to happen in the 3D. And yeah, I know it's super annoying and nobody wants to hear that, but leave the time alone as much as you can. Whenever, by the way, for everyone watching, whenever you're worried about something taking a long time, where is it, wasn't, why isn't it happening? Affirm that it has already happened. It brings you back to the now where you have it. So, you make it so simple and easy to understand. Thank you so very much. Thank you for being here. Again, my own experience in the beginning has been so complicated that this I really appreciate your comment, because I'm really making a point in keeping this simple, not making it simple, but keeping it simple. When it's not simple, it's just overcomplicated. It's unnecessary. What do you think is the best way to affirm for faster results? I like to walk and affirm, but just sitting and focusing makes me anxious. Walk, yeah, go for walks. Um, the best way to affirm for faster results is affirming that it's happening right now. I sometimes add the words right now to it, and especially when I start noticing time and delay and stuff like that. I start affirming my affirmations and right now, happening right now. And my father is an alcoholic, and I have huge resistance to manifesting him being alcohol free. I have the 3D in front of my face every day. I know that when you have the 3D in your face all the time, it can be challenging, but it doesn't stop you from manifesting. The 3D has no power in stopping you from manifesting something different. It's whether you dwell on the 3D or, you know, in a case like this, I can't even say accept that your father is not an alcoholic or accept that other result. Do your techniques, whether it's affirmations or inner conversations, visualization, whatever you're doing, as a training, literal training. See it as training your mind. I am repeating this just so I get my mind habituated to this thought. It makes it a little less annoying. Or script. Scripting is also a great tool to focus. Hi, Zoya. um, Hi, Anna, my favorite coach. Just thank you so much. Have a lovely day. You have a lovely day. What should be our go-to thought whenever things like good or bad or blasphemy or any other doubt comes in between the practice of the law? Well, blasphemy isn't a thing. It's I think I might have said this before. It's a way of control. I don't know if it says anything about this in the Bible, but a lot of what is being said in the Bible, which is manifestation, literally manifestation, all Neville's teachings come from the Bible. A lot of it is being transferred to people in a way that is completely wrong. So with stuff like this, with doubts like this, I would recommend going back to the basics of manifestation. Imagination creates reality, right? You are born with your imagination, right? Which means that the infinite intelligence slash God slash whatever you want to call it that created you in your human form created you with your imagination, which creates your physical reality. So you were born with your imagination. Neville Goddard actually says that you can never be separated from your imagination. You can never not imagine. And imagination is God. So I would have a conversation like this with myself if I had questions like this. And what is good and bad? I mean, never purposefully manifest hurting people. But if you're manifesting something that is good for you, but you think might be bad for someone else, I would suggest to affirm that it's a good outcome for everyone involved, that everyone is happy with the results. If I am manifesting being financially well off, it doesn't matter even if the action I take now seems to be against saving money. For example, buying yourself a meal instead of cooking. It completely depends on your assumption about it. And I would, with 3D actions like this, I would say, check in with yourself. How do you feel about it? If you're secretly feeling anxious or guilty or anything like that, either change the story in the moment and do the action if you want to take the action, or take a step back and continue changing your assumptions. But your action, if you are asking if your action is messing with your manifestation, it never does. It's always the assumption about the action that or the reaction that the action can generate that can, I don't even want to say mess with manifestation, because you can just take it from there and manifest it anyway. How much focus do we need to give a story? Do we need to focus closing the eyes, as I have heard? If we close our eyes, we can focus more. Is there any hardcore rule about that? Absolutely not. I can visualize with my eyes open. You can literally zone out and visualize, or affirm, or no, no rules. Do what works for you. If I decide lack is impossible for me and I am wealthy and always receive more than I expect, will it work? Um, Without knowing if a limiting belief exists within me? Actually, yes. This is wonderful. Actually, you can manifest without knowing your limiting beliefs. One of two things happens usually. Either it just destroys the limiting belief so that you get rid of it somehow and your new assumption starts manifesting, or it brings up the limiting belief so that it's so clear that you just can't unsee it and you can just undo the limiting belief that just came up. So yeah, yes, it works. Is it true that action is not necessary? um, and how to convince yourself not to take action? Oh, I am the big not taking action person. It's absolutely true that action is not necessary, but I would go as far as to say that you should not take action, like on purpose. Because if you are taking action on purpose to make your manifestation happen, you are going to take that action from your current limiting beliefs. Or maybe you don't have limiting beliefs, from your current beliefs and from your current state. And if your current state is still the unwanted, you're going to take the action based on that. So the best thing and the only thing you can do in manifestation is actually to change your beliefs, change your assumptions, change your stories. And if for that particular manifestation it is necessary that you take action, trust me, you will take action. There's no way you can stop the action from happening if it's part of your manifestation. So don't worry about that. I can guarantee you from own experiences there I have had many manifestations where I haven't had to take any action whatsoever. It just came. And some manifestations where I had to take action, but not that I had to figure out what action to take. It just happens. It's like someone is guiding you and it comes so naturally. For me, it always happens that I'm in a state where I'm not even, it's like, this is probably sounding weird, but every time I had to take action for a manifestation, as part of manifestation, if I'm thinking back, it felt like I was in a trance. And it's just happened. It's like you're fine during the day, and then something switches and you're guided, and then you come out of it. And sometimes it feels weird. And sometimes you think that, oh my God, that was weird, but it always feels good. It always feels like it was the right thing to do. Also afterwards, it's never like you're guided to take an action and then you feel bad about it. Never happened as part of manifestation. So never worry about action. Only work with your mind, and your mind will guide you if action is needed. I am manifesting a 180-degree change. So I have an umbrella affirmation. I don't know what you think about this, because what if I have limiting beliefs behind it? Oh, they will come up. If you have limiting beliefs, then they will come up. The thing is that there are many things I'm manifesting, so I can't find another way. Oh, the thing with umbrella affirmations, I think, is a very personal experience. I know this reminds me of a Neville Goddard success story from God knows which book or lecture. There was this woman who was manifesting several things at once, and she didn't know what to focus on. So what she did was she fell asleep affirming, isn't it wonderful? Something marvelous is happening to me right now. I think that was the affirmation. Isn't it wonderful comes from there. And she ended up manifesting the money, everything she was manifesting. There are other people that prefer working with one topic, with each topic, not just one topic at a time, but with each topic. And then at some point, go to the umbrella affirmation. Um, it works. I can't say it doesn't work. It definitely works because assumptions manifest. Whether it's an umbrella or a specific assumption, your mind is not going to not manifest just because it's one or the other. Uh, but if you think you have limiting beliefs, if that worries you, without going crazy trying to absolutely find a limiting belief, try to see if you can recognize some things that you might have limiting beliefs about and change the belief. But otherwise, stick with your umbrella affirmation, and also see what reactions it creates in you. If you're completely freaking out every time you affirm, then something is off. Um, but if you feel fine, then keep doing it. I feel like the world is on my shoulders. Like it's up to me if people are sick and suffering to imagine correctly. How do I imagine everybody happy and healthy forever? It is overwhelming. Yes, because we always hear that everything is our manifestation, etc. Everything being our manifestation doesn't mean everything is our fault. We have assumptions that we learned when we didn't have any control over our imagination. So try to get rid of the guilt. But other than that, imagine as you go, or affirm as you go. I I can tell you a story, a success story that might help you and many others who are watching. I know someone who manifested something that she saw on the news. There was, sorry for the bad news, this happened years ago. Murder in her region, country, wherever she was living. And for a long time, they couldn't find the murderer. And she felt so bad for this family. She didn't know them, by the way. It's something on the news. So she started affirming that they had found the criminal. A couple of months passed by, and they haven't been able to find this person for a year or more, like for a long time. So she starts affirming, and a couple of months after, she hears on the news that they have now finally found the assassin. And that was it. Like, affirm for the things that you find important as you go, without literally needing to manifest everything for everyone, because you're also not doing anyone a favor by feeling guilty and heavy about it. What do you mean when you say do it as a mental training? I mean that the way you view your manifestation process. So instead of this pressure that I have to manifest this, or I absolutely have to accept this as true right now, or I have to feel it real right now, otherwise I'm failing. See it as, okay, I don't believe this. I can't feel it real right now. I can't even visualize it properly if you're visualizing. So what I'm going to do is to repeat this technique, whatever you have chosen, affirming or visualizing or anything, just repeating it so that my mind can get used to it. And then when my mind gets used to it, I will go more in depth with feeling it real, understanding whether or not I still believe in it, etc. That's what I mean. Do you prefer going general or specific? Would you use umbrella affirmations to release resistance? Oh, sometimes I do. It depends on the situation. Every manifestation is different, Every person is different. Every person is manifesting differently, and every manifestation is even different. Both work. How would you go with manifesting a relationship out of thin air? Start with step one in every manifestation is, what do you want? Start with describing that relationship to yourself. How do you want that relationship to be? And then you take it from there. The right person will appear. Could you give us a generic routine to do and stick to the work? Um, yes. Well, the best thing that you can do, if you want to stick with one thing, pay attention to your thoughts. Every time a negative thought comes up that you don't want to experience, you affirm. That's very simple. It can seem too simple. When you start doing it, it can seem too much work, but it gets better. So pay attention to your thinking. Um, Guys, I know that a lot of you are very curious. For now, I prefer not to answer personal questions. So unless you're asking about hair care and skincare routine, you have changed my life. I'm not kidding. So much love for you. Thank you. I don't know what you mean, but I am so happy for you. Like I wish every single one of you to is the best thing in the world. And thank you so much for your kind words. Hi, I have a question. Hi there. Do you have a way not to feel resentment for the things your SP did? I try to remember myself, or remind myself maybe that I am just manifesting a different version of him. But sometimes I feel like someone has to take accountability for what happened. Oh, you can do two things here. Either you literally manifest your SP taking accountability and apologizing. You can manifest an apology because that is a version of your SP that you can manifest. Or you can revise what happened. It depends on both work, and both of them are, there's no right or wrong. What you feel like doing. Not everyone is really happy about revising, but that's an option too. Can other people transmit thoughts to us? Only if you accept their thoughts. And I think that happens based on your belief system, based on your self concept. So if someone says something to you, if you believe it, then it's transmitted. If you don't, then it's not. Joseph Murphy is actually really big on this topic. He says that if you don't take care of your mind and plant your own garden and create your own assumptions, then other people will, the society will. So you are the master of your mind. Ooh, let's see. Oh my God, this is so awesome. I am really enjoying this live Q&A. The topic of limiting beliefs is very tricky. The doubts never stop coming in. Ooh, that's a limiting belief right there. Doubts never stop coming in. They stop coming in. I promise you. From personal experience, you change your beliefs one at a time. At some point, they stop. And yes, sometimes you do have doubts and limiting beliefs coming in, but it gets better. I promise it gets better. I think as to say persistence is key, it is. Also in a video, you said that do it for fun and as an experiment. Yeah, I mean, I know that sometimes we have heavy feelings and really difficult situations, but if you can keep it light and, well, easier said than done. I know, I heard myself. But no, doubts stop coming in. Get less and less and less and less and less and less the more you work with your mind. Why, as a god, some things I can manifest, but I can't, for example, manifest that no one I love wouldn't die? Ooh, the topic of death is very, very tricky. I have my thoughts about it, but if you okay, this is actually something that I don't want to go in depth with this. This is I understand your concern. But, well, Neville Goddard would say nobody dies in reality. I know this isn't a comfort, but in the sense the soul keeps on living. Thank you for your time, Anna. Stay blessed and happiest. Thank you. You too, Zoya. I will watch the whole live when it is uploaded. See you. Bye bye. What is your manifestation routine? Ooh, it changes based on manifestation and based on my mood. This is why I will always say do what works for you, because there are people who stick with the same routine for every manifestation, and they stick with the same technique for every manifestation. It works for them. It doesn't work for me. For every manifestation, I need to understand for myself what technique I want to use and how I want to go about it. So it really differs. You need to find something that is sustainable for you, that works for you. And yeah, don't worry about doing the same thing every time. Keep the story the same. If you're visualizing, keep it the same thing for the manifestation so that you don't like dilute your attention a little bit here, a little bit there, if possible. But yeah, I don't have one manifestation routine. In the manifestation routine course that I created, I actually give options so that because of myself, because of I know myself, and I'm guessing there are other people like me. You might be comfortable with different things at different times. MJ says, simplifying it would be repeat your affirmations and tell yourself that you just need to repeat, and be clear that if you repeat, it will be reflected in the 3D. Don't need to feel any emotion, just repeat. Sometimes, yes. In the earlier years of my manifestation, I have manifested things, and I have said this many times in my videos. I've manifested things that I didn't believe in at all. And this is what I did. All I said to myself was that, okay, I'm told that if I repeat this enough time, it has to manifest. So that's what I do. And that's what I did. And it manifested. So it doesn't have to be super complicated. Hi, Tracy. So good to see you. Sending you much love too, Tracy. Oh, hi, Ditma. If I have 3 desires, how would you go about it? As someone who always has several desires at a time, I would say work with the one that comes up during the day. You are going to think of your desires, and some desires may come up more than the others. So, as I said before, if you pay attention to your thoughts and your imaginal acts during the day, whatever comes up, that's what you affirm. Let's say if you're affirming in that moment. Whenever the other one comes up, that's what you affirm. You can create routines, like fast routines, if you're a very like strictly routine person, that at this time of the day I'm going to affirm or visualize or whatever, do inner conversations for money. At this time I'm going to do SP. At this time I'm going to do this other thing, if that works for you. Otherwise, whatever comes up. What does feeling the feeling mean? Does it help us manifest? If it does help, doesn't it go against Neville's feeling it real? Because if we are feeling it, a feeling undesirable feeling, wouldn't it manifest? Ooh, this is a wonderful question. And actually, this is something that I go a lot a lot in depth with in my course, Release the Negative Emotions. Um, this when you are feeling the thing with I'm guessing you are asking about negative emotions, right? When a negative emotion comes up, there are different ways you can work with it. You can either understand what story is behind it and change it, and thus change the feeling. Um, the problem with this is that what people do with negative emotions is that they avoid it. When you avoid a negative emotion, you suppress it. It's the same as when you have a negative thought coming up and you ignore it. A lot of people do this, and that's just half the work. You ignore a thought or a limiting belief, it stays there. With emotions, it works differently. You, but it works the same if you're ignoring it. If you're ignoring it, you're suppressing it. But if you're feeling it, it's like you are understanding your own programming. Did I explain it? Because this is a very important topic, and I can't explain it in 2 minutes. But Neville, there are things that Neville doesn't cover, to be honest, that I have found are important in manifesting, such as self-love, such as scripting, for example. Neville never talks about scripting, not that I know of. His self-concept is completely different from self-love, for example. Hi, Anna. Thanks for the live stream. You're welcome. Thank you for being here. Death is an experience, not an absolute. We exist indefinitely. Neville would agree with this 100%. Do you agree that we have to feel our affirmations? I mean, to have a feeling. Not necessarily. If you have feelings, wonderful. If you don't, thoughts manifest too. I find that when I focus on affirmations and I get used to them after a while, it generates a state, a feeling state. But to say that you have to feel your affirmations, nah, no, not necessarily. Um, um, the second person who is asking me if I am German, I'm not German. What do you think about long sessions of saturation? Do you think it is more effective than doing short sessions? I don't think it's more effective. Some people do long sessions of repeating something longer than I have ever done. And yet I have manifested a lot of things. So, again, not necessary, but if you have fun doing it, do that. What if a fearful story that feels real seems like it's in the way of manifestation because of anxious feelings? How to get past this? I feel like I'm aware of two different stories. Change the story. It sounds like back and forth between two stories. Change the story. Also, can you make some more step-by-step videos on exactly how to manifest simple things like call texts, contact? I tend to overcomplicate things, but you break things down so well. Thank you so much. I can actually. And if you go to it's either in my SP playlists or specific manifestations playlists, I have one single video of manifesting text or calls, but I will keep this in mind for the future. Thank you. And have you ever read the Seth material? Curious, as I'm reading some now. It's similar to Neville, just different wording. I have not actually. Back when I was when I started this and I only knew about law of attraction, I read a lot of Abraham Hicks, which is similar to Seth, and I heard about Seth from her, I think, but haven't haven't read any. Um, Ritma says, "Thank you for answering. You cleared my doubt. This was about the negative emotions. Thanks for letting me know you have a course on it. I'll check it out. Thank you so much, and you're welcome. I wish you all the best." Do affirming things like "I manifest anything in 24 hours" really work, that you will manifest in 24 hours, or any manifestation needs time? No, not all manifestations need time. Manifestation doesn't need time. That is also an assumption. So affirming that if all your manifestations happen in 24 hours, as soon as that becomes an assumption, that will become an assumption and manifest. So yes, the only thing you need to do is to make this become an assumption, just like any other assumption. Ritma says, "I haven't seen results with robotic affirming. It feels fast paced. I like when I affirm with focus so much so that I begin to feel it. Is it okay?" Yes. I have had other people say this same thing, and I have the same experience with robotic affirmations, to be honest. I have heard about a lot of people having results manifesting with robotic affirmations. So if it works for any one of you watching, do that. I personally never recommend. I also like focusing. Also, because when you focus on affirmations, it changes your state, and it does two things: states manifest, and also you feel so much better. So if you can um, focus on affirmations instead of affirming robotically, I would recommend that definitely. Think of this whole just decide trend. I do the work daily and throughout the day. Uh, just decide is a wonderful idea, but that's not how the mind works. If you can decide and create the assumption right then and there, then it will manifest. But let's say you have a limiting belief. You have a limiting belief, and then you decide that your manifestation happened already. That won't. I mean, I don't want to create unnecessary limiting beliefs, because everything is possible. You can. Okay, this I realize again. I realize that I'm having assumptions about this. For me, I need to either repeat something or really focus and create the new assumption. Just deciding on the go works when you don't have a limiting belief about that story. If you're having limiting beliefs or an old story that you want to change, that story needs to change for your new manifestation to happen. So if you're just deciding and it's not manifesting, it's better to go and work with your story. Did I answer your question? Because I know this just decide thing. It's, yeah, wonderful. The idea is wonderful, but if you have huge tons of limiting beliefs about a topic that you're trying to manifest, and just deciding it is not eliminating your limiting beliefs, it's not going to manifest. So do what works. Oh, you're so welcome, Ritma. What are your thoughts on robotic affirmations? I actually just answered this, but I do it while doing tasks that don't require my deep focus. Therefore, I can focus on affirming too. Yes, you can affirm while doing tasks and affirm focused. Whatever you do, focus on affirmations. Don't affirm while doing dangerous stuff, but focus on affirmations. I personally prefer that. Alexandra says, I suffer from depression, so sometimes it's challenging to manifest. Try sets. I have a video on sets. State akin to sleep. Try to do your techniques in relaxed state as much as possible. I understand you can't do it all day, but that helps. People who don't speak English fluently like me, can I take coaching via email with you instead of by call? Your English is great, by the way, but please, for questions like this, you can send me an email. You can find my email on my booking page. We can talk about this. Thank you for your answer. I totally align with what you have said. Repetition and work on changing the story. You're so awesome. You're so awesome too. Thank you, Tracy. And yes, and by this, I don't mean that it has to be difficult and take a long time and all that, but I also don't like to do it in a superficial way. Oh, just decide. Yeah, like wonderful. But, you know, sorry for asking so many questions. No, that's why I'm here. You're very welcome to ask questions. Thank you for being here. I have a last one. I feel like every time I really want something and put a lot of focus on it, it doesn't work, even though I affirm all day for several weeks. I let me see. By the way, it can be an assumption that whenever you put focus on something, it doesn't work. So check in with yourself if you actually assume this. You probably do if you said this. That this can be one problem. Another, like, sometimes we need to persist. Persist until it manifests. If you can, like, I have had manifestations. Someone asked in the beginning of the live if I have had manifestations that took me a long time, months, and just a long time in general. I have. And what happens in those cases with myself is that it's either because I don't focus enough, or I am too much in the 3D with my head and I'm doing stuff that I know I shouldn't be doing. At some point, I get sick of it. I get sick of my negative state. I get sick of my negative story. I get sick of manifestation not happening. So what happens there is that I decide I'm going to do the work till it works. I don't care how long it takes. I don't care how much I have to focus. I'm going to stick with it till it manifests. And that's what I do. And it ends up manifesting. Sometimes we have limiting beliefs that we ignore, which I also have experience with. Literally either not being aware of the limiting belief, but the limiting beliefs are always in front of us. It's always our experience, or like pretending I don't have this limiting belief. I have done that. It's not helpful. If you think you might have a limiting belief, just get rid of it. So these can be a problem. Tracy says, Neville even said it's the frequency that we return to the state, not the duration, right? He says so many things. It's yes. He also says persist in the wish fulfilled. It's the frequency you return to it, but first of all, definitely yes. Meaning return to the state as often as you can. What that does is that it trains your being. It trains you to become that. So what happens is that you, the more often you return to the state, the more you become used to the state. So the longer you actually stay in the state until you are that state. So if you can't stay in a state for a long time, it's not a problem. At least in the beginning, or just in general, don't worry too much about it. do the best you can, because every time you return to the state, you reintroduce it to your mind. It at some point it becomes like, oh, I know this. I know how this feels. I know this feeling of abundance or health or whatever. I know this. This feels good. At some point, you're just going to just enjoy it. Um, Limiting beliefs make me stressful. Look at this differently. Whenever a limiting belief comes up, think of it, wonderful, now I know I have this, so I can change it. I know it's not a joy to experience limiting beliefs, but at least when it comes up, it makes you aware that you have it, you can change it so that you can get rid of it. That's how I choose to see it. So it becomes like, okay, thank you. I got it now. Does anyone know where I can find all of Neville Goddard's teachings? A lot of it exists online. He has 10 books, or actually 9, plus one of the books is someone has collected his texts and put it together as a book. You can all find them online, but the lectures are endless. I personally don't know how many lectures he has. If anyone knows it, actually, I would appreciate it, because he has so many. I also haven't had my health affirmations work yet. Could it be due to contradicting thoughts or something? It could, definitely could. For instance, I affirm I can eat anything, yet still can't for years. What do you do? I have said this several times during this live, and I am going to say this here again. Do it in sats. State akin to sleep, relaxed state. When you are relaxed, your mind accepts the thought easier. So with tricky stuff like that, it's better to relax into it than to force yourself. Forcing never really works, but even like focus that. Something happened with the connection. With tricky stuff like that, I'm saying it's better to relax into it than to even like fully focused affirming or visualizing while wide awake. Relax into it. It helps with the acceptance of the new story. Do you have a favorite coach? I genuinely don't, because I had to figure this out myself. When I started with manifesting, coaching wasn't even a thing. 15 years ago, I started 15 years ago, and the first few years I was desperately looking for a coach that could explain things to me, because I wasn't understanding anything. So I had to figure it out myself. And I understood manifestation with Neville's and Murphy's teachings. Later, I discovered some other teachers whom I like, but yeah, this has been my story with manifesting. How to manifest career when I don't have right qualifications? Oh, you're in the right place. Neville would say that your qualifications don't matter. Oh, Neville actually in one of his lectures said that he didn't even have any qualifications for what he was doing. In the logical, traditional sense, your mind will figure out the way to get you from point A to point B. If you absolutely need to have these qualifications in order to manifest your desire, you will somehow have to, or be guided to take the courses or the education or whatever. It will be part of your bridge of incidents, but you can manifest your career even if you don't have the qualifications right now. By the way, for anyone interested, I'm sure some of you have read the book Autobiography of a Yogi by Yogananda. He graduates without studying. because he literally manifests it. It's in the beginnings of the book. So if anyone is interested, if there are any students who are interested in manifesting grades or graduation or stuff like this, Yogananda is your guy. Sometimes it's overwhelming that you have to always work on something. It's true, but it's like that only for a period, because the more you manifest, the more you get rid of limiting beliefs. So for the next manifestation, you already have less limiting beliefs and less, and keep going. It will become better. I will take a few more questions and then I will end this live, but I will make sure to make more of these. So if you have other questions, I will answer them at another point. So let me take these that are here. Unless you have a super urgent question, leave it below. But I'm about to wrap this up, just so you know. Thank you for answering. You're very welcome. Yeah, I feel like I may have a limiting belief that I maybe don't succeed at manifesting big things because I have been into LOA for years, law of attraction, I'm guessing. So I feel like the failure I've had in the beginning when I didn't have the right info solidified a limiting belief. Thank you very much. Don't worry, because I know how this feels. I've been there, and I've also had limiting beliefs about manifestation. One of them, I have had a similar one, that it had to take such a long time and so much repetition and so much work to change a limiting belief. And at some point I thought to myself, why am I believing this? This is just an assumption. And as soon as you realize that that's just an assumption, that half the work is done. MJ, thank you, Anna. You're welcome, MJ. How do you shake it off and start again when you've been manifesting an SP for 2 years? I'm with my umbrella affirmations, but obviously I still desire him. Is always in the back. He is always in the back of my mind. There's again so many options here. One thing could be that one suggestion I would give would be maybe affirm or do your, just like I said for some other manifestations that people were asking before. Whenever your SP comes to mind, affirm your specific SP affirmations, or imagine, or maybe try it for a period and see how your mind reacts to it, or how you react to it. I think that's what I would do. Thank you for answering. It gave me hope. You're welcome, Ritma. I work on money out of a thin air because I don't want to work. But I feel that I'm forced in the 3D to find better paid job. And it's hard because I don't want to manifest job, but I have bills in the 3D. I totally understand this. Do both for now. Because we live in a 3D reality where we have responsibilities, and do what you need to do for now, but keep manifesting money without working. That's possible, because if as soon as you create your assumption, has to manifest somehow. Keep doing what you need to do so that you have your somewhat peace of mind, that your bills are paid and you have the money to live, but keep working with your assumptions. At some point it will have to manifest. And Natalia, hi Natalia, says, I joined too late, but thank you for your super tips. You are so welcome. And I promise you, I am going to make more live videos. I enjoyed this so much. Thank you, every one of you, for being here and your questions. And yeah, I think I'm going to wrap this up. This was super fun. I can't believe I didn't start live Q&As earlier. A couple of people asked me for memberships, actually, and I'm thinking about that too. I will continue doing these lives. Really, enjoyed answering your questions. By the way, every question I received has been a question that I have had at some point, especially in the very beginning, where I was a pile of questions about manifestation. So I wish you all the best. Happy manifesting. Keep persisting, because you can do it. I promise you, you can do it. And let me read the last comments here. It was great. Big hugs, Anna. Big hugs to you, Tracy. The best life ever. Thank you so much. So much hope, because I was starting to feel hopeless. I know that, very valid. It happens. You can do it. And it's a period. Whenever you feel hopeless, it's a period. You will get yourself out of it. And you can. Some people have joined too late. By the way, this isn't entirely your fault that you joined too late, because I set up the live too late. Next time, I'm going to prepare earlier so that you can see it, or you see it at least a day before. So I promise that. Someone wants to manifest height. You affirm your desired height, and your mind will figure out how to get you there. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for being here. I'm going to wrap this up, and thank you, MJ. Send me an email and we will talk about coaching. This was to MJ because she asked a question about it. And have a beautiful day, morning, evening, wherever you are. Thank you for being here. Bye-bye.